It's bright and early. We're back at it, North Carolina. We are getting prepared at the truck. Same place as we went yesterday, where the birds were gobbling. We are going to try to sneak into their bedroom, though, underneath where they're roosting, within relative proximity. We were kind of out of the game pretty early yesterday morning, and never were able to catch back up with those dang turkeys. So that's going to be the game plan. We're going to sneak in ninja style. Not a lot of cover, if you remember how it was yesterday morning up on that kind of ridge we walked onto. So we'll be having to stay real still and crossing our fingers that they'll fly down, kind of work their way towards us. Probably won't do much calling to start out with. Evidently this area is a popular spot that they've seen them up strutting around quite often in years past. So that's gonna be our plan. And if that doesn't work out of the gate, then we're just gonna go to plan B and chase after them. Try to get aggressive, get one of them fired up so we can have an opportunity at them. We're still looking for that situation where a bird is real fired up and gobbling his head off and, you know, coming into the calls, strutting around, displaying. Jordan was showing me some old footage that he's had from a couple years ago, but everybody they've talked to in this area just says it seems a little bit off this year. Birds are just not quite acting like they normally do. It's less aggressive and stuff, and it might be just because they had a pretty heavy spring rain, so I'm thinking maybe that contributed to it. But you know, who knows? There's a lot of coyotes in the area as well, so that could potentially be a factor. Regardless, we're gonna go get ready, go chase some more turkeys, see how this goes today. We got a bird gobbling over here, one up the ridge, one over here at a minimum, but they're not right where we thought they were. So I think we're gonna move up on them, see if we can get a little closer to where they might land, fly out of the tree. They're still up in the trees right now. It's just barely getting light out. So, gotta make a move. Hey, he's not that far back. Yeah. That plan worked well. That was funny, guys. You came down perfect, huh? I could hear him spitting.
Dude, I'm like, why are you shooting him? But now I see that tree was right in your way.
He was right there. I was just waiting for him to clear that tree. I knew he had to be close.
You heard him spitting?
Yeah, he heard spitting.
He came out of nowhere.
Dude,
right?
I didn't hear him fly down, and I look and I see him behind that log up there, and you had no idea he was there, and I'm like, I couldn't get your attention because he was so close, but I'm like...
I saw Andrew like making noise. I couldn't tell what he was saying, but then I look up there and I just see him like walking down, kind of partially strutting.
He was right behind
Cool.
those rose bushes right there. He was right behind it the whole time. Dude.
He just, like, his head was just barely past this big tree. Like, if you point it over, you can't really see where he was. His head cleared that tree by about 2.5 inches, and he was looking for you. He was freaking looking for your calls.
Well, I'm like, why is he not killing him? At one point on the camera, you can hear me. I'm like, Kill them.
Oh man, appreciate you guys helping out, dude.
Absolutely,
That was so
dude.
cool. I'm gonna keep this.
Yes.
That cartridge right there.
What do you think about hunting these North Carolina birds?
It's been a lot of fun. I gotta tell you, it was, you never know what you're gonna expect going to a new place. These birds have been a lot harder to hunt than I ever expected. I figured it'd be relatively easy, but as you guys have seen the last few days, we had to get pretty dirty on the first one, spot and stock style. And we just haven't had that many opportunities. But this guy came in beautifully. Both Andrew and Jordan said, okay, this area is known. They've seen over the years, birds will come down and just strut on this kind of open. A little bit flat right here in the saddle. Their plan yesterday was, instead of being set up down in the bottom in the green, is to come right up in the bedroom and try to just wait for him. And it literally played out perfectly. Jordan said last night, he's like, I got a good feeling about tomorrow. Pretty cool to see that bird just sneak on in on us. He only gave us one gobble. I was hoping he'd put on a show.
Dude, I can't believe that joker. I thought he was still in the tree, and I look and he's on the bank. I'm like, what is going on?
I saw him popping over that down log up there.
Yeah.
That's what they like to just cut right down the end.
God, dude.
It looks like a good bird from back here.
25 yards.
That's awesome, dude.
Tagged out in North Carolina.
Spurs.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, Brian.
You have got
Dude.
the biggest spur ever.
Dude.
Look at this thing.
Dude.
My gosh. That's why he didn't gobble. That's why he's an old bird.
Oh, dang.
Dude.
Look at that guy.
Oh gosh. Let's see this other one. He's a
How
little
is it?
shorter, but he's sharp.
He
But
broke
look,
it. He broke that other one
it's
off.
been broke off at one point, but look at
Dude.
that. That's a trophy spur. This is a 3-year-old bird at least.
That is awesome. See multiple bearded. Single beard.
That's a paintbrush, man.
Dang, he's pretty.
God, what a pretty bird.
That's freaking
spur.
money.
That is a
That's
a hook.
that is-
See him? It's a 3-year-old bird at least.
Really? Wow.
Oh, I'd say he's 4. Yeah.
Think so?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Just because of the length of that spur?
Yeah.
That.
He's
Maybe the reason he's not gobbling.
he's 4 for sure, dude. He is 4 years old, dude. That's one of the, I mean,
How ground off he is.
yeah.
Dang. That's awesome. Thanks, guys.
God,
Dang, he's pretty.
he is beautiful, man.
These birds are so dang pretty. These eastern birds are gorgeous. So again, not being much of a turkey guy, I don't know a whole lot about aging them, but the telltale sign, I guess, of an older bird is oftentimes the length of their spurs. And I didn't even know this, but you can score a turkey through the NWTF system, which is measuring the length of the spurs, the length of the beard, and then the weight of the bird. Calculates some form of score. I know the first bird I got was real heavy. This bird doesn't feel as heavy, but his hook's definitely a little bit longer. That's freaking awesome.
Congrats, man.
Look at that.
That's so sick, man. God, tagged out MC, baby.
Oh man, I appreciate all your help.
That joker's eluded you and me for the last year.
That spur is unreal.
Guys, you know how it is when you try something new and you just don't really have an appreciation for maybe what it is that you just did. But it's cool to see how excited everybody is when you get a bird or something like this and they've seen a lot of spurs before and they're just like, dang, that spur's crazy.
That worked out perfect, man. So pumped.
Got a little weather coming in, so we're going to take this bird back to the truck. It's pretty cool. I told you guys on the very first video, but Jordan and I met about 2.5 years ago on a work trip in Chicago. Our boss, the guy who runs the whole division of the company we're for, introduced us because he too is a big outdoorsman and hunter, and he was talking to Jordan about hunting. He knew I hunted, so he made a point to walk him over, and I could tell as soon as we met, we were just like, hit it off. And then from there on out, we never really talked about work. It was just all about hunting, whether it be whitetail, turkeys, elk, Jordan and his buddies, like I said, they drove from North Carolina to Idaho last year. They did all the research on their own. They used GoHunt, OnX Maps, researched all the forums, networked with people, made some ideas of where they wanted to go, had a plan A, a B, a C, bought the gear that they needed, nothing fancy but just to get by, and made it to Idaho and freaking killed a bull with their bow in the middle of the rut. And I just think that's the coolest thing ever. We always talk about buy tags, don't buy gear, go out, and if you've ever thought about going out west, if you've ever thought about going east, if you live in the west, make it happen, man. Go find people that can help that progression and commit to doing it. I know these guys had the time of their life. If we have time, we're gonna try to do a separate video and just how they plan the hunt, because it's easy for us to say how we do it. I think it'd be cool for you guys to hear about what they did to get out to Idaho. It was do it yourself, it was over the counter, and they just rented a Suburban. That way they didn't have to put miles on their truck, being frugal. Bombed out there, freaking killed an elk. And I just think that's the most amazing accomplishment. And the fact that they just decided to finally do it. They'd been talking about it for a long, long time. They just did it. That's so inspiring to hear those kind of stories. And we're very, very fortunate we get to do quite a bit of this. But these are 4 guys that had to take a week off vacation, had to leave their families, had to drive cross country, and just picked a couple spots on maps. And lo and behold, they killed themselves an elk. So it's been a lot of fun to spend time with Jordan and his family, and just all of his buddies, man. They've been super welcoming. Andrew was super kind and let us come and hunt this piece of property that he's been hunting for a really long time. Although there is a lot of turkeys, it was no layup. Yesterday we got our butts kicked. We walked all over this thing and never even saw a bird. So anyways, just I feel very, very grateful to be surrounded by great people that are willing to try to help bring cool content to you guys. And we are very fortunate to know a lot of those folks, whether it's shed hunting or turkey hunting or going on different kinds of whitetail hunts. We are not experts at anything, and that's what's so fun, is coming to try something totally out of your element that you don't know anything about. And I've learned so much about turkey hunting in the last couple 3 days, just calling, strategy, setup, all those things I can now take back with me and try to see if we can get a bird out west, whether it be in Utah or Idaho. So anyways, been a really, really fun morning. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate all the support over the years. Hope you're liking these turkey hunts. I hope you're liking us kind of exploring some different states. We sure have a good time. And let us know, where else should we go hunt, whether it be turkeys or whatever else. If we get kind of stuck in the rut of always going through the same old stuff, Oregon, Idaho, Utah, you know, Colorado, it's fun to go try new places. So we're gonna go to the truck. Let's go.
That's a blue for real.
Oh, bugs out here, I'm not gonna lie, haven't been awesome. There's little gnats that like freaking sit up on your sweatband line of your hat, just chew your freaking forehead off. Anyways, we're back at the house, gonna get this bird cleaned up. We've got my first bird has been getting prepared. We're gonna smoke the breast on that tonight, I believe. So I think the easiest way to clean these is I clean them just like a pheasant, basically making a incision down at the bottom of their breastplate, right down here, and then cut all the way up and over, peel it back. Same thing with the legs, kind of cut right here by the knuckle, go up, and then start peeling that back. And once you get them open, you can just pop the hip joints out from each leg, and then peel the breast back and just get the big old breast meat. It's crazy to me how much meat is actually on these turkeys. They're big. One of these days I'm gonna pluck one. It's not gonna be today, but one of them. One of these days I'd really want to do that. I want to pluck it and then smoke it whole, like you would like a Thanksgiving turkey. And I know like a lot of guys that like to do that. Callahan, for example, is I believe he's plucked at least 1 or 2 of them, and that's exactly what he does. He cooks them up for his family for turkey dinner on Thanksgiving or Christmas, and I've heard it's just delicious. So maybe if we get a bird in Utah or Idaho, we can try that technique. Takes a little more time, makes definitely a bit more of a mess, so I'd probably do it out in the field. But anyways, in the short term, we're gonna get the meat cut up, and then I'm gonna get it in the freezer. I'm gonna head out on an early flight Saturday. I'm gonna probably just put 2 both the birds will have -1 breast from what we're going to cook tonight, but I'll put everything else in a YETI hopper. Those things zip up and they travel really well, so you just have to pay for the extra baggage fee at the airport, but the meat should stay frozen really good. So get it home, put it in get it all vacuum sealed up, and have it in the freezer for my wife and I to enjoy. I don't know that she's ever had wild turkey, so it should be kind of cool to have her give it a taste test, see how she likes it. Dude, well, we're trying to breast this bird out, man, and he's got like a previous injury of some sort, because it is not normal. It's all infected. It looks maybe like it has gangrene. So here's a little sneak peek. You can kind of tell, like, this is all bad. This entire right breast, like normal turkey meat looks just like this, which you can see part of his breast looks pretty good, but as you get further down and kind of into the sternum bone, which is right there, it's just all nasty and infected, and we're trying to figure out what the heck it could be. Never seen it before. Certainly not going to be able to salvage much of this meat, which really sucks. We're really interested in, like, what the heck is going on in here. He was not in good shape, but yet he was acting just like turkey.
Dude, that's breast meat right there. Look at that. That's old, like, infected. Yeah. What in the world?
That is crazy, dude. That's unfortunate. That's about as much as I can salvage off this bird. It appears it had a pretty serious injury, and all that infection is like gangrene. The right side of the breast is as if it was like totally dead. The weirdest thing I've ever seen, but we talked to Andrew, who we were with this morning, and he said he's killed 2 birds that had a very similar situation. And then Jordan talked to another friend of his, was saying that he's heard of friends going through and having the same issue with their turkeys, where when they're fighting, a lot of times they'll get spurred, develop these infections, and I don't know. I can't see how this bird would have lived through this, to be honest. We've thought, well, maybe he got shot, something, but I have a feeling he's a pretty old, mature tom. He might have been like the boss, so probably doing a lot of fighting, but it's just too bad. Like, all the breast meat on both sides, it goes like over the sternum into the other breast, and then the leg that's on the same side as like the bad infection is just all screwed up. So we were only able to salvage the one leg, which is a bit of a disappointment, but we did what we could do. And it's crazy, just we say this a lot, but it goes to show you how tough these animals are, whether it's a freaking turkey or whitetail or an elk or a mule deer. Their will to survive is pretty wild. And some of the injuries that we've seen over the years, if you guys watched our Colorado semi-live series a couple years ago, the really nice buck Eric took had the craziest big old gash in its side, all yellow and infected and nasty, and it was definitely, he got nailed with an antler while fighting with another deer, and yet when we got him, he was just rutting us like crazy. Or if you guys watched Best Season Yet last year, when we were in Montana, Cody killed the bull, which was the last one we got in Montana. We were cutting it up. What appeared to be a gore wound actually ended up being a broadhead that he found later when he was cutting it up at his house. And yet that elk was just drooling and screaming his head off and ready to fight. And then the other example would be the Hushlife movie 2.0 when I was in New Mexico with Adam Weatherby. That bull that I killed when we were skinning it out up on his down his spine, taking out the back straps, he had a broadhead that had healed up over there. So those are just a couple examples that we've seen out in the field. I'm sure you guys have seen similar situations, but anyways, just figured we'd share that with you since we were getting ready to clean it out. We got one leg off this old boy, and then I'll have the beard in the fan for the memories, but unfortunately not as much meat as I had hoped. But the good news is I'm still taking home a bunch of meat from the first turkey, so it's cool these states that allow you to get multiple birds. But anyhow, it was ugly. It's pretty gross.